And at Royal Roads University, it is so important that we do an acknowledgement of traditional lands. We acknowledge that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Cosatsan, Esquimalt, and Lekwungen Songhees ancestors and families. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. Welcome. And we're going to do a brief program overview, and I'm going to welcome up Professor Ross Porter, who is the program head, to touch on the overview.
Great, thanks, Samir. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for your interest in the Bachelor of Commerce program in Entrepreneurial Management. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what makes this program different. There's more information available on the website and prior program-specific webinars, but here's the essence of the difference about the BCom. It's degree completion. So we offer years 3 and 4. We're not a 4-year program. The assumption is that people are coming in with the equivalent of 2 years of undergraduate equivalent experience. We offer a blended delivery model, and we're actually the only business program of its kind in the country that offers blended delivery. So that's a combination of online learning combined with 3 short residencies here on the campus of Royal Roads University. The program is designed to be completed in 2 years. I like to say that it's part-time, but it's full on. So students are taking 1 to 2 courses at a time over that 2-year time span. And it's boutique style. So this is not like you would experience in a lot of other business programs at other universities. We have a carefully curated curriculum. So it's a fixed menu of courses. Small class sizes. The class size tends to be in the 20 range. Again, that is an outlier in most business programs across the country. It is not correspondence. So your experience is actually facilitated by a faculty member within the School of Business, and they are there with you during the typical 9-week duration of a course. And I like to say that it's structured flexibility in the sense that while the curriculum is defined, the way it's designed and delivered over that 2 years with 1 to 2 courses at a time enables people who are working to study at the same time. The flow is a mix of live delivery. So there's weekly live delivery of some of the content and some associated discussion. And then much of the rest of the course that people are navigating can be pursued based on their own schedule. But each week there are things to do and work to undertake and classmates to interact with. What makes the blended delivery approach so impactful is the ability to learn while you work. So this idea that what you're learning in your courses can be applied real time to your work. So 95% of the students in the BCom program are working full time. And this gives them the opportunity to be reflecting on what is they're learning in a given week on a given topic and say, what can I do with this? How could I apply this to my current work, as well as projects that are upcoming within the program, including the capstone, which is the development of a business plan for an entrepreneurial endeavor that you want to undertake while in the program or post-program. Another thing that differentiates the BCom and entrepreneurial management is the diversity of the learners in the program. We have students anywhere from their mid-20s to their mid-50s. The average age is in the 30s, which again is an outlier for most undergraduate programs in the country, of a wide variety of backgrounds and professional experiences and educational experiences that people are bringing to the classroom. And what that enables is a richer, fuller, deeper conversation because people have the relevant work and life experience to be able to make sense and contextualize the information that they are navigating in their respective courses. What draws people into the program? I would say there's a set of common wants or desires that are people looking for to come back to university and to pursue this particular program. It's that they want to enhance the range of opportunities that are available to them, to improve their influence and to magnify the impact that they have in a professional context. So people are looking at this as a way of accelerating opportunity, influence, and impact in ways that are meaningful to them. There's some myths that I like to challenge that people may be holding as they think about the next steps in their educational journey, whether it be here or somewhere else. And that it starts with that a business degree or any degree is just a degree, that they're all the same. And I'm here to say that that is not the case. Every program is designed and delivered in different ways to cater to particular audiences and learner needs. As I said, we are catering to the working adult who has not completed their education previously and is coming back to school to accelerate their opportunities, influence, and impact. Online learning is not all the same. I think sometimes people equate online learning with simply live lectures that are delivered through Zoom, or they think that it's correspondence and that it's pretty much pick away as you go by yourself. That's not the way we design and deliver the BCom program. You're part of a cohort over the 2-year span of the program. As I said, you have live faculty who are delivering and navigating the learning process throughout the typical 9-week duration of a term. Another key difference is that entrepreneurial management. So we are a BCom in entrepreneurial management. It's on the degree title. There's no escaping it. It's not just a BCom, it's a BCom in entrepreneurial management. What does that mean? Well, it means more than simply about starting a business. Entrepreneurial management does not equate to how people typically define what entrepreneurship is, which is new venture creation. It could be that is one expression of what it means to be entrepreneurial, but it's not the only expression. I would argue that every sphere of work and life requires people increasingly to onboard an entrepreneurial orientation. That is what we are seeking to cultivate in the program. The mindset, the attitude, the capacities and capabilities to behave entrepreneurially in any work context, to be able to generate value for yourself and for those that you serve. Another myth is that it's all about knowing more stuff about stuff. That's the value of education. That's the thing that will accelerate your prospects in life, and it's the thing that's been holding you back. I'm here to challenge that. Information, content, knowledge matters, but it's not the only thing that matters. And sometimes I think we hold on to it too tightly and make too much of it. Process also counts. All the wraparound experience and learnings that come with undertaking an academic program generates value and often is as meaningful, if not more meaningful and impactful to learners. So it's not simply knowing, it's knowing how. It's skill development. It's the experiences and what they reveal to you about the things that are important to you or not important to you, what your interests are or not, the things that attract you and repel you. All these insights are value adding and often are the difference makers in terms of your career prospects and how fulfilling a career and life that you will have. So content matters, but so does process learning. And finally, this idea that why you are pursuing a degree, and specifically this degree, doesn't matter. Motivation doesn't count. I would say motivation counts a great deal because what we're putting down is not for everybody. Not everybody's looking for the experiences that we are cultivating and helping students navigate through. So understanding why you're choosing to come back to university, why you're choosing to study at Royal Roads, and why you're choosing to study the BCom in entrepreneurial management is really, really important. So the more informed you can become about the program and what it offers and who it's designed for, and then to ask yourself, is that me, or are there qualities there that I want to cultivate? Is this attractive to me? Am I excited by the prospect of what the program offers? That's why this, why now, and why me matters a great deal. And you have an opportunity to articulate responses to that in your letter of intent as part of your application package to the BCom. So with that, what does it take to enroll in the BCom? So we have 2 essential pathways into the program. standard admissions, which assumes that people are coming in with the equivalent of year 1 and 2, either another university or a college diploma or a mix of the two. But you have 60 credits, 24 credits at the year 2 level with a minimum GPA of a B. And we do require work experience. So unlike other business programs, we have a minimum of 2 years of work experience. Most people come in with 10 or more, but the minimum is 2. The vast majority of BCom in entrepreneurial management students are flexible admission. So they are coming in with a combination of varying degrees of post-secondary education, informal learning, as well as real-world experiences, pursuits and accomplishments, both work, traditional work-based, as well as maybe athletic pursuits as well, that have been occupying their time and attention and have been, but also deeply enriching in terms of professional experience. If you have less than 15 post-secondary credits, you'll normally require about 7 years of full-time work experience with 3 years at the supervisory, project lead, or the management level. That's what we're looking for. We have our next intake. So we have 2 intakes a year, one in late winter, early spring, and then another in late summer. So our next intake starts on February the 27th. Our application deadline is coming up in the next few days, but we will be extending that time frame based on interest that we know is there. We're going to provide some more space for people to be able to make application and complete their application file. So there'll be a notice going out in the next few days about an extension to the deadline. If you apply and enroll in the February intake, the on-campus residency starts on March 25th, which means that you're doing some online learning in the weeks before. So you start on February 27th. That week is our Bridge to BCom, which is kind of orientation to the university and to the program. And then later that week, you start your first credit-based course, which is the course that will also run through the residency period from March the 25th to April 1st. And then you will, once you completed that course and that residency experience, then you'll start the 2 courses at a time, duration for the first year of the program, come back for your second residency at the end of year 1 for approximately 8 days, and then you'll be heading into the second half of the program, which will conclude with our third residency, which is approximately 1 week long. So 3 short-term residencies. But yeah, if you start in February, you're not starting on campus, you're starting online and then coming to campus a few weeks later. Now with that, so that's a brief overview. And as I said, hopefully folks have taken advantage of the program pages that go into more detail about many of the things that I've spoken about. If you viewed a previous webinar recording where we go into more detail about the program, its design, and its delivery, we're interested in the questions and curiosities that are on your mind about the program, because really it's about fit. We want to know, what's on your mind. What do you want to know more about? What would help to be clarified to help determine fit and next steps for you? So that's what we'll turn our time and attention to now.
Thank you, Ross. And so if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. I've also allowed it so that people can unmute themselves too. I'm just going to kick us off with a question that I know we get a lot, and it's around the cohort. So what is that like? Like, what is the size of the cohort? Yeah. Who's in there? Like, what kind of backgrounds do they have? Ross, if you could talk a bit more about that.
So again, depending on what somebody's prior educational experience is, the idea of being part of a cohort might be quite unfamiliar. It certainly was not the experience I had in my undergraduate education. You know, you were taking a random assortment of courses based on your own schedule and your own interests, and you might see the odd person in more than one course, but for the most part, you're amongst a sea of many pursuing your own degree pathway. The way it works in the BCom and all programs really at Royal Roads is you're part of a cohort. So you're part of an intact group of students that start together, go through the program together, and complete the program together. So you don't have people coming and going. There's some movement within cohorts just based on life circumstances and people needing some time away, and then they pop back in. But the idea is that you're starting with this intentional group of learners on the journey together to complete their degree. And so you learn together. And this idea of community, this idea of co-creating your learning experience, this idea of shared learning, learning from each other, not simply from faculty, is an important distinction and differentiator for the BCom and entrepreneurial management. So if you like the idea of being part of a small class size, around 20 students, pursuing the BCom together, working in teams, not only in teams, but spending some of your time in teams, some of your time pursuing your own individual coursework, but journeying together and sharing that experience with other people rather than going it alone, this is a great fit. And I believe that it's a differentiator to the extent that we have very high graduation rates. People that start the program will ultimately complete the program. And I think it's the power of the cohort that helps people going.
So once people graduate from the BCom program, where are our BCom grads working now?
You name it, we have students working in that space. So with the 3,000 folks that have gone through the program over the last 20 some odd years, they're everywhere. Because we are catering to more of the working adult, they're already working in industry, and we have people from the private sector, the public sector, and the nonprofit sector in every jurisdiction across Canada, as well as people working and living in other countries. I just got an email yesterday from a learner who recently graduated talking about 2 formal offers that they had received in a sector of the economy that they previously had working, but at a much different level now. And so it's opened up doors of opportunity. But this learner completed about a year ago, and they've already, right out of the program, they had a really compelling offer in a new industry and have been working there for the last year, and then moved to another city and had to start over again and put themselves out there, and already have received a couple of offers. I'm very excited for them because I think it's a great career opportunity that's been made available to them. I got another email yesterday from a learner who recently graduated, has a very full and fulfilling career, but is looking for the next thing. And so they're going to be putting themselves out there. I spoke to 2 other learners recently that graduated in the spring. Both got job opportunities that they never expected to come. One within the same industry, but in a different capacity. So they're really digging into the change that's bringing to them in terms of career development and direction. And then another shifting complete industries and moving from more kind of frontline work to now working for a tech startup in Toronto. So working in hospitality and now working in a tech startup. We have people in financial services. We have people in the natural resources industry. We have people in the military. We have people in healthcare, education, throughout the private sector, and lots of people in the nonprofit sector as well.
So around the work experience part, in the BCom program, is there an internship or a co-op opportunity?
There is not, and that's by design, because it is a program designed for folks that are working and looking to advance their education, advance their career while they're working, rather than taking time out to come back to school. And so we don't offer a co-op program. What I will say is that the kind of work integrated learning piece is really embedded informally inside the program, because if you are working, the opportunity again to be applying your new learning through the BCom to your current work has enabled many people by the time they've completed the program to either advanced, take on new responsibilities, get new roles in their organization. So we just did a survey of an outgoing cohort, and the vast majority of them, while they were in the program, ended up getting promotions or new opportunities made available to them, either in their current employer. Some people moved to new employer because of new opportunities being made available to them. And the vast majority attribute that to being in the program.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Ross. Are there any other kind of frequently asked questions that we have received in the past that we should address? I think we've gone through most of.
Yeah, and that's part of why I did the kind of the myth busting, because I get folks coming in with still not as much clarity as I would hope about some of those pieces. And I'm hoping that that actually is liberating or empowering for people, that they can do away and dispense with some of the assumptions that might be holding them back or weighing them down. I guess the other piece is, what does it look like to be working, studying simultaneously? It is a major commitment. I mean, if you were a full-time student coming back to campus, it's a major commitment to undertake. It's like a job. And so if you're working full-time, many people have families and other commitments. It's not something you just do off the side of your desk. It's something you need to integrate into your life. And part of coming back to school is learning how to learn again in this kind of context. And so the first term or so, it's figuring that out. Like, what works for you? What's the flow? How do you manage relationships, and how do you manage your schedule and your workload differently so that you can create space for the learning? Because really, if it's simply about getting a degree for degree's sake and tick a box, there's probably other places you can go to achieve that offer you a potentially a better fit, if that's only what it's about. But if it's about the learning that we're on about here, life-changing learning experiences, equipping you to be more entrepreneurially oriented in your work, because you see value that you'll be able to bring to your work by onboarding more of that orientation, or opening up new and different and potentially more fulfilling career paths, then it's about the education. It is about the learning. You need to create space for that. So it's not just getting through, it's also being changed, being shaped, being influenced, growing because of the experience. And I think that some folks don't always understand and appreciate that. It might be, some weeks might be 20 hours of work on top of what you already have going on. And so that's where the motivation becomes really important. That's where your why becomes really important, because if it's deep and it's abiding and it's clear to you, it's going to get you through some of the challenging times. Anything worth achieving is going to come with work. Anything that comes easy will be treated with less respect by yourself and by others than something that actually takes an investment of your time, attention, and resources. So this is no different than any other program from that perspective.
Thank you, Ross. And I want to thank you, Ross, so much for going through today and answering these questions.